But mid this world, these hearts that answered her call, none could stand up, her equal and her mate. The section starts with but mid this world. It has the connection with the previous description. Savitri is described in various ways as a as an intolerant force, as someone to whom the hearts of men is constantly drawn. Her glory and grace, it is that which had enslaved the souls of men. They were enamored by her, they were angry with her, they could not bear the pressure of her force. They blamed her for a tyranny they loved. So they were attracted towards her, yet they could not be close to her. That is why we have here but. But made this world. Now this is a big commentary also. Made this world. Our world is there. When the divine comes, we are not ready to approach the divine, go close to the divine. The mother is there, but we do not go close to her. Therefore, this is a big commentary. This world, this is what it is. Our world of flesh, of mental ideas, conceptions, thoughts, our physical inertia, physical incapacity, all these things are summarized in that phrase, this world. And it is that from this world nobody comes forward and becomes closer, gets closer to the divine presence which is there. But made this world, these hearts that answered her call, none could stand up, her equal and her mate. Now, this is, of course, a big demand. Her equal and her mate. Maybe, perhaps, we might see her divinity, we might get attracted towards her, we might become her disciples, her devotees, but to be her equal and her mate, that is impossible. That is impossible. She is too divine for human to be her equal. Stand up her equal and her mate. Well, this is a fact, and it is not a hope also. It is a statement in the sense that the poet is preparing the necessary background to take the story forward. Savitri has grown up into full maidenhood and she has to find her mate, but there is nobody here to match her. Therefore, the poet is preparing us psychologically about the problem which is arising because of the greatness of Savitri. None could stand up, her equal and her mate. In vain she stooped to equal them with her heights. Yes, Savitri has come all the way down from the divine realms. She has stooped down here. She had accepted mortal birth. She has accepted all the limitations of human life. Everything is there, but there is none who can rise to her stature. In vain she stooped to equal them. She is trying, she wants them to get up and climb to her heights, to her greatness. Too pure that air was for small souls to breathe. Yeah, we are really small souls. And the air is too pure for the souls to breathe. That air, too pure that air was for small souls to breathe. Yes, the spiritual ambience, the spiritual radiance, the spiritual atmosphere, we kind of get suffocated with that. We cannot breathe that air. In fact, that is what also happens on a physical plane. When you start climbing up to higher altitudes, then the breathing becomes difficult. Too pure that air was for small souls to breathe. So that is the nature of Savitri, the purity, her nature. And that also means that by reflection, in contrast, we are not pure enough. We are full of turbidity, mud, ugliness. All those things are there in us. And with that kind of turbidity, ugliness, mud, how can we approach one who is pure? These calm cells to raise to her own wide breadths, her heart desired. Yes, that is the desire of her heart. My colleagues, my friends, my peers, my playmates, I want all of them to become equal to me. That is her desire. But they cannot breathe that air. These comrade cells to raise to her own wide breadths, her heart desired, and fill with her own power. This is what she wants to give all her power, pour all her power into their souls. That why? Why pour that power? Why raise them up to her kind? Because that a diviner force might enter life. That is the whole purpose of her work. The whole idea of raising mankind, human nature, mortal race is to see that the diviner force enters into it, enters into life. It is the divine force we should work here. A breath of Godhead, greaten human time. We are moving in small sections of time that should become wide. That should move swiftly, rapidly, without any obstacle in between. That should be the moment of time. And that is her desire. That is what she has come here to do. But she finds that people are not ready. That a diviner force might enter life. In other words, this is, of course, not immediately what is described in terms of the actions of Savitri or by her words. This is the poet's reading of that girl who is standing in front of him. He is seeing that girl in front of him and he is describing the nature of that girl, that she is a force who has entered into life to greaten life. Although she leaned down to their littleness, covering their lives with a strong, passionate hand, and knew by sympathy their needs and wants, and dived in the shallow depths of their lives, and met and shared their heartbeats of grief and joy. That is what she has come. She has taken the human birth. Human birth means she has accepted the joys and the grief of human life and met and shared their heartbeats of grief and joy. The mother comes here into ignorance. She goes through ignorance. That does not mean that she is ignorant. It does not mean that. She has accepted the conditions of ignorance with full knowledge of what has got to be done. In the same way, she has come down here, she is accepting grief and joy of man so that by participating in their grief and joy, this can be removed, this can be eliminated, this can be transformed into pure love and beauty and joy, and bent to heal the sorrow and their pride, lavishing the might that was hers on her lone peak. Yes, she was standing high above this entire creation on the lofty summit of this creation. She has come down from there, and it is from there she is pouring, she is lavishing all her greatness is the human race, lavishing the might that was hers on her lone peak. Now he says that was hers, was hers. because Savitri has taken human birth. That was hers means because she has taken human birth. She has therefore certain human limitations, yet she has the power, she has the capacity, she has the resources to bring down that force, that might, and let it work in the human creation. Lavishing the might that was hers on her lone peak to lift to it their aspirations cry. And though she drew the souls into her vast and surrounded with the silence of her deeps, and held as a great mother holds her own, only her earthly surface bore their charge, and mixes fire with their mortality. That is what Savitri, her greater self lived soul unclaimed within. She is participating in human nature. She is participating in the process of ignorance, in the process of mortality. Yet she can remain away from them, aloof from them, unaffected by them. Her greater self lived soul alone of its own, although she is participating in human ignorance and human stupidity also, if you like, everything, you see, unclaimed within, oftener in dumb nature's stir and peace. A nearness she stood, a nearness she could feel serenely one. So with this entire creation, she had kind of an identity. She could feel the oneness with every living creature. Oftener in dumb nature stir and peace, trees, flowers, plants, animals, beasts, men, in all of them she could feel a kind of a nearness, she could feel serenely one. The force in her drew us subhuman brutes. So all those great creatures which are lying in our subconscient, it is they, she could pull them out. The force that is in her, it is they who could come out. The force in her drew us subhuman brutes, and to her spirit's large and free delight, she joined the ardent youth, magnificent lives of animal and bird and flower and tree. She joined the ardent youth. So the human nature, she is pulling them out to give light to them so that they can enter into magnificent life. She joined the ardent hued magnificent life of animal and bird and flower and tree. Now the beauty of this line is all are singular. He doesn't say animals, he doesn't say birds, he doesn't say flowers, he doesn't say trees. That is the poetic technique. That is only a master poet can do that kind of a thing. Otherwise, an ordinary poet would have said of animals and birds and flowers and trees. You know how flat it becomes the line the moment you make it plural. You see, the change is there, the difference is there at once. So that is what the master technician would do, a poet would do. You see, she joined the ardent youth, magnificent lives. You see, lives is a plural, but here of animal and bird and flower and tree. You see, it gives a certain kind of beat, rhythm also, whole line. You see, and what it means that when it says of animal and bird and flower and tree, when you say tree, it means he is not pinpointing at a particular tree. It is entire tree creation. It is entire animal creation. It is entire blossoming creation. Flower is a symbol of the entire blossoming creation in that sense, you see. So therefore, he doesn't see that is if you say trees and flowers, it means that you are counting and numbering them. No, the entirety will get lost. See. She joined the ardent youth, magnificent hues of lives of animal and bird and flower and tree. They answer to her with a simple heart. That's not bad. That's not bad, I will say. You see, with simple heart, with their own psychic response, they are able to at least reciprocate something, give something back to her. They answer to her with a simple heart. In man, a dim, disturbing, somewhat lives. Now that is the contrast. See, in the case of the animal and bird and flower and tree, he doesn't say man. You see, he has skipped that man. Man, he has reserved for something else here, you see. Because these people, these creatures, animals, they respond spontaneously to something which is coming from the higher or nobler world, you see. They got a kind of a spontaneous response, you see. But in the case of man, what happens? In man, a dim, disturbing, somewhat lives. Now, this is the beauty again of poetry. He is using disturbing as a noun. Disturbing is an adjective generally, but Shevendu is using here as a noun. In man, a dim, disturbing, somewhat lives. You see, we feel uneasy. We start arguing, quarreling, uh, talking of this and that keeps on constant. Animal, their response is spontaneous. We will weigh pros and cons, left and right. I'm in two minds, I'm in three minds. We keep on talking like that, and we constantly keep on disturbing. Therefore, that dim disturbing is there at the mental level. The mental being has that character, which is not there at all in the lower creation. The flowers, they spontaneously respond. But man, he will say, yes, is she really the divine? He'll start asking questions. Is she really the great? You see. In man, a dim, disturbing, somewhat lives. Is there always, you see. It knows but turns away from the divine light. See, this is what the spirit is ready, but not the flesh. This is what we say. This is common saying, no? It knows but turns away from divine light. This is man's character, preferring the dark ignorance of the fall. It turns away from divine light and it feels happy to remain in the darkness of ignorance, in the dark cave. Instead of well lit palace, man feels happy to live in an ill lit cave. In man, a dim, disturbing, somewhat live. It knows but turns away from divine light. You see, he is using capital L, the highest light possible, preferring the dark ignorance of the fall among the many. So, this is what he is trying to tell you. Well, he is not trying, he is telling you straight away that look, Savitri has comrades, she has got friends, she has got playmates, everybody. But when it comes to the mental man being, then he is unsteady. He keeps on arguing. He is not sure of what is required. He turns away from the divine light. And therefore, again, that will be a problem for Savitri as a girl who has to get married, you see. Among the many who came drawn to her, yes, the princes, the kings, all the hero warriors of different countries and lands, they did approach Savitri claiming her hand. But the moment they saw that figure there, they sort of got repelled. They were thrown back and they went away to the kingdom. Among the many who came drawn to her, nowhere she found her partner of high tasks. Now, of course, he has already described what are her high tasks. That she is bringing light, she is bringing joy, that man may respond to it. Earlier, we have already that description here. High task. the comrade of her soul, her other self, who was made with her, like God and nature, one. Now, see, this is the sort of suggestive occult description which tells us immediately about what is really necessary for Savitri to do her work indirectly. She is there, Divine Shakti is there, that is not sufficient. She needs a counterpart. That is required. And therefore, unless that thing is there, she cannot do anything here in this creation. Savitri, she comes and she'll transform the world. No, she needs Satyava. She needs certain things to be there, you see. And therefore, he says, her other self, that is required, who was made with her. Now, this is again important. Savitri was born in response to Ashwapati's prayer to the Divine Mother. Ashwapati had received a boon directly from her, and she told him, yes, I will come and take mortal birth. Now, it is that kind of a person who could be equal to Savitri. Her other self has to be equally like that, who was made with her. It is not that he is growing, picking up, he has also grown along with Savitri all along, throughout. Now, we can say that the mother says, since the beginning of this earth, whenever and wherever there was a possibility of the ray of manifestation, I was present. I was present. That definitely therefore applies if we identify mother with Savitri, then that definitely applies to Satyavan also. He was present since the beginning of this creation of the earth. And in that sense, therefore, we have got her other self who was made with her. See, it is a very powerful phrase, and sort of casually he has pushed it in, you see. But the connotations are really very deep, very occult, very luminous, very significant. The mother also said that Satyavan is a permanent avatar. She speaks of Satyavan as a permanent avatar. When the earth was formed, it is Savitri who had come here to do certain work. But at the same time, Satyavan was also present in the earth as a permanent avatar. And therefore, that is her self. On the occult level, they have been coming here, they came rather together, and they are doing the work together. Now, in the human process of time, they had to come again together in the human process of time. Savitri has taken the birth, same way Satyavan has to come out in the human form and meet Savitri. So, her other self, who was made with her, like God and nature, one. See, this is a very powerful simile again. The whole philosophy is compressed in one single phrase. Like God and nature, they have been born together. Nature to fulfill God's desire in His creation, to express God. And God wants Himself to express in nature. They have been together. In the same manner, Satyavan and Savitri, or her other self and she, they have been together. So the simile immediately takes you to a different metaphysical level also. That is the power of poetry. That is what we have in Savitri. If Shibendu were to write in prose on these two lines, her other self who was made with her, like God and nature, then he would write a long chapter in the Life Divine, running into 30, 40 pages, you see. In poetry, one phrase is enough, you see. Everything is expressed already, you see. Some near approached were touched, caught fire, then failed. That is human nature, you see. Because they were not her other self, who were made with her, you see. Too great was her demand, too pure her force, thus lighting earth around her like a sun. So Savitri is the sun, and she is giving light to everybody who is there around her, her playmates, her palace, her gardens, or whatever you call it, thus lighting earth around her like a sun. Yet in her inmost sky, an orb aloof, but within herself she is a luminous globe shining by itself. While she is giving light like a sun to everybody around here, within her she is a globe, luminous globe by itself burning there. Yet in her inmost sky, an orb aloof, a distance severed her from those most close. Obviously, nobody can approach her. See. Puissant, apart, her soul as the gods live. Now, this is again a very difficult simile. You see, very difficult simile, but he has said it so casually, you see. Puissant, very powerful. Of course, Savitri is there. Apart, yes, she's standing away from everybody. Then, how? As the gods live, gods are concerned, they are very powerful, they are luminous beings, they are the guardians of light, they are the ones who carry the work of the divine here in this creation. Yet they live apart, they do not stand out directly in that sense. So it is in that sense Savitri is also being shown in her god-like character. Puissant, apart a soul, as the gods live. Because of her loneliness, as I said, there is a great problem. She has to find one who is her other self. The whole thrust, the whole drive, the whole push is towards that. As yet, with the great world, she had no link. She is growing up. She is getting educated. She is going to the schools, learning arts, sciences, philosophies, mathematics, astronomy, every kind of an art, dance, drama, she's learning. She is trained in martial arts. She has got every kind of faculty now developed in her. She has also spiritual experiences, oneness of the self. Her greatness is shining throughout. She is doing all that thing. But she is doing now as an individual. She does not find anybody around her who is equal to her. And therefore, she had no link with the world. She is sort of growing in the palace. She has to go now into the wide world. The poet is hinting us, look, nobody is coming forward to claim Savitri in marriage. Therefore, now Savitri has to set herself and find her own mate. She has to establish a link with the outside world. She has to travel from kingdom to kingdom, from land to land, from region to region, and then meet people, contact them, see the life, and find out if she can find somebody who is suitable. So, as yet, with the great world, she had no link. In other words, she is now getting set to travel to the world. In a small circle of young, eager hearts, her spirit's early reign and human school is what she has been. Her apprenticeship she made to life and death. Content in her little garden of the gods, That is Ashwapati's palace, Madra, the palace in Madra, full of gardens, flowers, trees, rivers running around here and there, and all that kind of thing. Garden of the gods. So that is Ashwapati's garden, where gods come and move around the garden. Content in the little garden of the gods as blossoms a flower in an unvisited place. So Savitri is a lonely flower in the wilderness, in that palace, in that richness, in that royalty, whatever. She is alone. She has to find somebody. She has to move around. This flower which is there in the wilderness, that flower has to now travel from place to place and meet other flowers. As blossoms a flower in an unvisited place, earth nursed, unconscious still. Yes, earth is not aware that what she is doing, but earth is nursing what? The inhabiting flame, the flame which is there in Savitri's soul, it is that which is being nursed by earth, by all these things. Yet something deeply stirred and dimly new. In Savitri, she gets a feeling, yes, this is not enough. This is not the small little place in which I have to live. Maybe it is very beautiful, very rich, and all that, but this is not all where I can be happy with. Yet something deeply stirred and dimly new. There was a movement and a passionate call. Passionate call for what? To see the great world with which she had not any link so far. Passionate call, a rainbow dream, a hope of golden change, some secret wing of expectation. Yes, she has to move around, and there is an expectation, and the wings have to go from sky to sky in the discovery of the secret. A rainbow dream, a hope of golden chain, some secret wing of expectation beat, a growing sense of something new and rare and beautiful stole across the heart of time. Savitri is growing rapidly, very swiftly growing. Therefore, the heart of time, it is that moment now which is taking shape. Savitri has to find her mate. There is an expectation. The wings are beating with the expectation there. There was a moment and a passionate call, a rainbow dream, a hope of golden change, some secret wing of expectation beat, a growing sense of something new and rare and beautiful stole across the heart of time. What poetry, you see. Then a faint whisper of her touched the soil. Savitri is whispering, and that whisper is touching the soil. Then a faint whisper of her touched the soil. What? Breathe like a hidden need. The soul divines. Her soul divines something, and there is a kind of a need in her soul. Yes, I must find my mate. And it is that whisper which is touching the soil. She has to move around now and go to places, different places. Then a faint whisper of her touch the soil, breathe like a hidden need, the soul divines. The eye of the great world discovered her. A wonder lifted up its bardic voice, jubilant celebration. It is that which is raising the voice. What is the voice? I of the great world discovered her. Now, this is something significant. Here, we are told that it is the world which has discovered her. It is another way of saying, look, it is she who could discover the world. It is she who is going to discover the world. The eye of great world discovered her. A wonder lifted up his bardic voice. So there is a kind of a jubilant response for that bardic voice. Bardic the composer and reciter of the great epics. The epic of life is about to begin, and therefore that voice is raised here. The key, a key to a light still kept in being's care. Yes, everything is locked and it has been kind of preserved carefully there. A key to a light still kept in being's care. The sun word of an ancient mystery. The sun. What is the key? The sun word, the luminous word. The word stands for the power of expression, of manifestation, of bringing something into creation here. That is the expression of bringing something into creation here. And it is, of course, the sun word. It is of golden light, of a higher manifestation, of the possibility of the divine entering into play here, into expression here. The sun word of an ancient mystery is the sun. That has been the mystery all along. Everything is for what purpose? Why that mystery was kept here? Because that sun word must express itself here. A key to a light still kept in being's care. The sun word of an ancient mystery is the sun. Her name ran murmuring in the lips of men. See, yeah, Savitri, 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 because she is the sun word. She was, her name ran murmuring in the lips of men. Here you see men, you see, every creature now is now responding to her. Not man, men, you see. Had you put here man, it would again spoil the poetry. Lips of man would mean he is talking of more metaphysical sense. It is not metaphysical man. Here is human being, multiplicity, where she has to express herself. Her name ran murmuring on the lips of men. Oh, if only it happens to us. If that name is on murmuring on our lips all the while, see. Her name ran murmuring in the lips of men. And see the alliteration, murmuring, men, name, you see, beautiful alliteration, see. That's the beauty of poetry. Her name ran murmuring in the lips of men, exalted and sweet, like an inspired verse. The way in which great poetry suddenly comes down here, the poetry of the Vedas, the poetry of the Upanishads, the poetry of the scriptures, the poetry of Savitri, the way in which it comes down here, it is in that manner that name ran. Exalted and sweet, like an inspired word, struck from the epic lyre of rumors of winds. Now, rumor is something not what we call nowadays gossip, half truth, half lie. It's not that rumor here. Rumor has, see, Shebendo is deeply immersed in Greek ideas and thoughts. And rumor has the sense of Greek association. It is basically, rumor is a goddess, is a person, is a being of fame or reputation. Fame or reputation. Rumor, fame or reputation. In fact, that sense is obsolete now. The etymological meaning of rumor is fame or reputation. But we don't use that, in that sense, the word rumor. Dual spirit of fame and good. And the Greek name of that person, that being, is Phama, Pheme. Phama.
That's where the fame comes from.
Huh?
Maybe the word fame derived from there.
Absolutely. That was saying reputation, fame. See, they're all interrelated, you see. Phama. Daughter of hope. She is the daughter of hope. So she brings our hope, you see here. She is the daughter of hope. That is what the Greek poet says. Sophocles, she is the daughter of hope. You see. And it is that now struck. See, so all these associations, See, for instance, he uses this word already. Exalted and sweet, like an inspired verse of Sophocles, of Homer. All those poets are there, Greek poets. They are, they are inspired verse, you see. Struck from the epic lyre. Again, basically that's the Greek instrument of rumors winds. Fama. You see, her, the way it blows, see, or sung like a chanted thought by the poet Fame. See, again, that fame and fama and rumor, they're all connected, you see. So the whole connection is there. In other words, Savitri is very uh, deeply loaded with all those associations. English literature, Greek literature, of course, Indian literature, and all those things are there everywhere. So it is not rumor the way in which talk, rumor like, half gossip, half lie, half truth. You see, it's not that. It is a goddess of fame and reputation who is being celebrated here. So her name, therefore, naturally, her name ran murmuring like on the like. I'm sorry. Her name ran murmuring on the lips of men, exalted and sweet, like an inspired verse, struck from the epic lyre of rumor's winds, or sung like a chanted thought by the poet Fame. The poet Fame himself is singing her name constantly, F capital, you see. In other words, he has personified all those great singers in one word, Fame. But like a sacred symbols was that cult. Yes, her name runs on our murmuring lips, but it is a symbol, sacred symbol, holy symbol, occult design, tantra, that is what make designs and all that, Devi tantra, all these things. So it is like a tantra, you see here. Yantra, in fact, is what we call it. But like a sacred symbols was that cult, admired and sought, intangible to the grasp. We cannot understand the meaning of. See, we have got now Devi Chakra, Devi Yantra, that sort of a thing. The occult designs are there. So it is that we don't understand that. We don't grasp them. Intangible to the grasp. Her beauty and flaming strength was seen afar, like lightning playing with the fallen day. A glory unapproachably divine. That is the mystery. That is the strength. Afar. Now here again, her beauty and flaming strength. You see, it is a bright, fiery strength again, of course beautiful, was seen afar. It is she so far away, we cannot even approach her. See. Like light, how afar? He is giving a beautiful simile here. Like lightning playing with the fallen day. The way at a distance in the evening the lightning will strike. Fallen day in the evening. Playing with the fallen day, a glory, that is her glory. She is looking like a lightning. Vidyuta. She is that, Vidyuta, you see. Her glory, unapproachably divine. That is why it is afar. And therefore it is lightning playing with the fallen day in the night. There came to join her heart no harsh approach. See, in fact, the poet is preparing us for the next canto. He's going to describe all that thing. He's preparing us for the next canto here. Shrivendu is a great essayist, and the whole essay develops in a very systematic manner, from argument to argument, from point to point, from theme to theme, in a sequence. And he does not skip any description. He elaborately connects all of them here. There came to join her heart no harsh approach, no transient earthly love assailed her claim. It has to be the eternal love to claim her love. It cannot be the human love, transient love. It has to be the eternal love to claim her love. No transient earthly love assailed her calm. No hero passion had the strength to seize. No eyes demanded her replying eyes. Yes, that is her gaze. That is the power of her look, that nobody can look into it. And therefore, again, if you see that line once more, her other self who was made with her. See, it gets connected with that. Her other self who was made with her. That self alone can respond to all these requirements, so to say, these descriptions. There came to join her heart no harsh approach, no transient earthly love assailed her calm, no hero passion had the strength to seize, no eyes demanded her replying eyes. See, all the sentences are put in a negative way, but see the power with which they bring out the greatness of Savitri's personality. It is as if, in contrast, he is lifting up the personality of Savitri. It is as if, why describing that thing? No, 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 not this, not this, not this. It is only Satyavan. There came to join her heart only one heart to approach. There came to assail her calm only one soul. Again, that's Satyavan. You see, we'll go back like that. See. There was only one strength to seize her passion, the hero. Again, Satyavan. No eye demanded. It's only Satyavan's eyes could demand her return gaze. In fact, that is what we'll see in the next book, the Book of Love. You see. A power within her or the imperfect flesh. That is what happens. Our flesh cannot bear that greatness. It stands away. It dreads by that power. The self-protecting genius in our clay, self-protecting genius in our clay, in our earthly soil, in our mud, in our physical body. Genius, genius stands here for the spirit ruling over a certain type, certain group, certain people. That is what genius means. In fact, the word genius here is, it is a guiding spirit, the guardian spirit of a group, of a people, of an institution. What is the genius of this place? What is the genius of Auroville? You see, in that sense, the guiding spirit. You see, the spirit of Auroville. That is the genius of Auroville. You see, in that sense. It's true or not? Huh? You wish it were true. Yeah, that is perhaps true for the ashram also. Yeah. Okay, so that is the genius. So the guiding spirit has to be there for every group activity of every people. You see, so here says the self-protecting genius of our clay, of our mortal life, of our physical existence, divine the goddess in the woman's shape. So there is something in us which divines the shape and drew back from a touch beyond its kind. We are accustomed to a certain kind of a touch. We cannot bear her touch, and therefore we retract, we recoil, we draw back. Drew back from a touch beyond its kind, the earth nature, bound in the sense life's narrow make. Yes, we are governed by our own vital instincts, vital responses, and naturally the vital response cannot bear the impact of her purity, of her divine force, of her divine light. The hearts of men are amorous of clay kin. Yes, we are happy with our clay pots. We would not like to have amethyst pots for drinking wine. You see, clay pots are better. You see. The hearts of men are amorous of clay kin, and bear not spirits lone and high, who bring far intimations from the deathless plains. It cannot bear. The great souls who come, the vibhutis, the avatars, who bring far intimations from the deathless plains, from the immortal worlds, they bring those things, vibhutis and avatars, the fire intimations. We cannot bear them. And bear not spirits lone and high, who bring fire intimation from the deathless plain, too vast for souls not born to mate with heaven. Yes, we don't have that quality, we don't have that capacity, we don't have that opening, we don't have even that aspiration to be so. We don't even know that kind of a thing can happen to us, can be ours. Whoever is too great must lonely live. That is the loneliness of Savitri. She has not found her mate. She is too great, therefore she has to live alone. Whoever is too great must lonely live. Adored, he walks in mighty solitude. Of course, he here stands in a general context because he is talking of one who lives lonely. It is for that he. Of course, it refers again to Savitri here. Adored, he walks in mighty solitude. Vain is his labor to create his kins. He cannot create other great people around him. His only comrade is a strength within. That is Savitri's strength within. And that is the only mate, friend, lover, comrade, whatever you want to call it, for Savitri here, the strength within. In fact, later on, we have a long description of Savitri's loneliness. His only comrade is strength within. Thus was it for a while with Savitri. All worshipped marvelingly, none dared to claim. Actually, later on, we have here, let me read that part, it's very important. See, we have here line. Yet in her inmost sky, 96.11. Yet in her inmost sky, an orb aloof, a distance severed her from those most close. It is the same description here, repeated. And we have the same description again in earlier part. Her greatest self lived, 96.4, last line. Her greatest self lived, soul unclaimed within. She is alone, you see. That is what Savitri is there. Now she is here alone, but again, her greatness, her loneliness, her greatest self comes out most beautiful later on when Savitri is described by Narad, who Savitri is, her greatness. We have got a very powerful description there. 108:30.
Which number?
108:30. 108:30. He who would save himself, you got it? Oh, okay. 108? Yeah. He who would save himself lives bare and calm. He who would save the race must share its pain. This he shall know who obeys that grandiose urge. That is what Savitri is here. And later on, the great who came to save the suffering world and rescue out of time's shadow the law must pass beneath the yoke of grief and pain. And later on, the most beautiful description, 112:48. as a star, got it? 108, 112, 112. No. As a star, uncompanioned, moves in heaven, unastonished by the immensities of space, traveling infinity by its own light, the greatest, strongest, when they stand alone. And then he says, a day may come when she must stand unhelped on the dangerous brink of the world's doom and hers, carrying the world's future on her lonely breast, carrying the human hope in a heart left soul to conquer or fall on a last desperate world, alone with death and close to extinction's edge. Her single greatness in that last dire scene, she must cross alone a perilous bridge in time and reach an apex of world destiny where all is one, all is lost for man. In that tremendous silence, lone and lost of a deciding hour, in the voice of fate, in her soul's climbing beyond mortal time, when she stands soul with death or soul with God, apart upon a silent, desperate brink, alone with the self and death and destiny, as on some verge between time and timelessness, when being must end or life rebuild its base. Alone she must conquer, but alone must fall. Now, this is a description of a slightly different kind. Savitri is what is going to do after the death of Satyavan. She will be standing alone. But here we have already, going back to our 97.9, here already Savitri is standing apart alone in a different context. The hearts of men are amorous of clay kin, and bear not spirits lone and high, who bring fire intimations from the deathless plain, too vast for souls not born to mate with heaven. Whoever is too great must lonely live. Same thing again, what happens later on also. See. Lonely live. See, in fact, that is the important thing. In fact, that is the most significant thing. Savitri has to meet death, to conquer death. And death has to occur in a lonely place. Satyavan is not going to die in his house, in the hermitage where he is living. Now imagine if the death takes place in the house, then all that weeping, crying, noise, this thing, that thing, the kind of occult isolation which is required for Savitri to do her work, that she would not be able to do in the midst of everybody. The death has to take place away from all these human elements, lonely. Therefore, he goes to the forest, and then at noontime, the death occurs. When Savitri is alone now, face to face with Yama, with death. And there she has to conquer. So that is the strength. He's talking of the strength, loneliness. No human element can interfere, should not interfere. In fact, that would have been sort of disastrous had the death taken place. She would not have been able to do anything, you see. Whoever is too great must lonely live. Adored, he walks in mighty solitude. Vain is his labor to create his kin. His only comrade is strength within. That is what Savitri is having when she is meeting death. Thus was it for a while with Savitri. This, of course, is in a different context here with Savitri because she has grown up now to the marriageable age. All worshipped marvelingly, none dared to claim. That is the problem for the father also of Savitri, that my daughter, she has to find somebody, you see. None dared to claim. Her mind sat high, pouring its golden beam. She is pouring her golden light all around, everywhere. Her heart was a crowded temple of delight. That is loneliness. Now he is describing here Savitri as a temple, as a shrine. Savitri is described here as a shrine for the God of love, a perfect shrine for the God of love. That is what is now being described here because he is preparing for the next move. The Savitri has to meet love. Her mind sat high, pouring its golden beam. Her heart was a crowded temple of delight. Obviously, temple of delight. A single lamp lit in perfection's house. Savitri herself is that house of perfection. And it is in that house of perfection that lamp, Savitri's soul, is lit. A bright, pure image in a priestless shrine. So that is the shrine. And in that shrine, there is no priest. In other words, the poet is telling us, look, at the moment there is no priest, but he will come. He has to come. Savitri is the perfect shrine for the God of love, and that priest has to be there. Satyavan will come. A bright, pure image in a priestless shrine. Why priestless? Because of that. You see. Alone, amid surrounding crowds, she dwelled apart in herself until her hour of fate. Now again, the hints are there, hour of fate. What is going to happen tomorrow? Now this has gained multiple connotations. Hour of fate. It is fated that Satyavan has to die. That is the hour of fate. But it is also fated in the immediate context that Savitri has to meet Satyavan. Her hour of fate has to come for the meeting. And therefore she is sitting alone in that priestless shrine. There is no priest there, she is there alone, you see. And that hour of fate has to come where the priest will walk into the shrine and they will meet. You see. Now, this description of perfect shrine is something marvelous. We have here earlier 3.28. See, the whole Savitri is that way well knit. All connections are inbuilt and logically consistent. 3.28. Now, he is describing the place where Satyavan and Savitri are going to meet. You see. Here with a suddenness, I am reading the previous sentence. Here with a suddenness, divine advents have. In what the priest is bound to come here soon. See. Here with suddenness, divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing into rapture the dull earthly round. Love came to her, hiding the shadow, death, her hour of fate, death. Well might he find in her his perfect shrine. So this is a perfect shrine which is being described here now, in our present context here. Her mind sat high, pouring its golden beams. Her heart was a crowded temple of delight. A single lamp lit in perfection's house. A bright, pure image in a priestless shrine. Alone amid surrounding crowds, she dwelled apart in hustle until her hour of fate.